Studio Sherpas Podcast, episode 001. Yeah, that's right. 2 zeros in front of that one, baby.
My friend Mark and I talk a lot about calling, and I feel like I was called into this work. And sometimes calling doesn't mean you make more money, but it means that you are doing the work that you're designed to do. And I think as I reflect on all 400 episodes, all of the ups and downs, and so many highs and so many lows, the thing that still rings true today as what I think is the most important is community. Okay, hey, welcome. Guess what? This is episode 400 of the Grow Your Video Business Show. I'm your host, Ryan Koral, and in today's episode, we're just gonna celebrate. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. My heart is just so thankful for you for being with me. For those who have listened to every 400 episode, I'm not sure that would be an incredible feat if that person does exist. If you're out there, let me know. And we're just gonna have a good time today. So settle in and let's celebrate. So first thing, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here for 400. If this is your first episode, amazing. This show was originally launched by my friend Matt Davis and myself we started dreaming about this in 2015. And then I think the show launched in early 2016. And we wanted to help filmmakers. We were filmmakers. We met each other in the wedding filmmaking world and at an event in 2007, I think it was. And we became fast friends. And I was super impressed with his business and vice versa. And anyway, after years of knowing each other and kind of going through a lot of stuff and learning a lot about the business side of what we do, we said, hey, let's create educational resources for filmmakers. How fun would that be? We both were speaking at events for filmmakers, and we both loved education, and we both like a microphone. So we just thought it would be really fun. And we did it. And that's where Studio Sherpas was launched. And that's shortly thereafter the podcast launched. And here we are all these years later. Matt's not with me anymore. He's with us. He didn't die. But I can't remember what episode he stopped, but maybe around 50 or 60 or something like that. But we had a pretty good run together, and we're still friends. And we actually talk on an episode, I'm not sure which one it is, just about his journey. And it's good. We're friends now. I think we're closer today than we were back then when we were doing all that work together. But something fun. I was like, oh, what'd be fun is for me to listen to the first episode of the show, 001. How to be a better storyteller and why it matters with Patrick Moreau of Muse Storytelling. We should have done our very first episode should have been the two of us, but we were both, I think, pretty insecure and feeling like nobody's going to want to listen to us. Let's bring on all of our famous filmmaker friends and let them shine. And we did that. Yes, John Goolsby, setting up systems so you can focus on what you love. Okay, so this is September 29th, 2016, September 13th, August 1st, 2016 was the very first episode. So today's July 26th that I'm recording this, 2024. So yeah, what is that? 8 years later. This is almost 8 years to the day. Wow, I'm going to start crying. Just kidding. I just want to hear what this sounds like. So let's play.
This is the Studio Sherpas Podcast, episode 001. Yeah, that's right. 2 zeros in front of that one, baby. First episode. Let's do this.
Broadcasting from a top secret edit suite high in the Himalayas, you're listening to Studio Sherpas. The climb is on.
We did have a sweet intro. That was pretty fun.
Take your filmmaking business to the next level. From freelance to freedom, here they are, the Studio Sherpas, Matt Davis and Ryan Koral.
Oh man, it's been so long since I've listened to that.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on episode 001. Yeah, 001. our first one of many episodes to come. Matt's not with me here today. He's soaking up the sun in the Bahamas. I feel so bad for him.
I remember that.
But joining me today on the podcast is Patrick Moreau from Muse Storytelling and Still Motion. I brought Patrick on the show today to talk about story in filmmaking in our lives.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. What happens? What's the outro like?
Profound is when you realize that lunch you get for $4.97, lifetime access,
etc., etc.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no outros. That was back when it was just straight up. Let's bring the guest on and talk about it. That is amazing. Wow. That just seems like forever ago. I can't believe it. 400 episodes. So 8 years in 2016. 2016 was a year that everything changed for me and my business. That was the year that I hired, I had an administrative assistant who stepped in as our business manager. And that was also the same year that I read the book Traction, which is when we started practicing this thing called the Entrepreneurial Operating System, which is also, because of that book, I was able to stop doing all of the things inside of my business. I was able to delegate. I delegated some, and my business manager just took things from me and said, nope, you're not hiring and firing anymore. You're not interviewing people. You're not working. You're not doing payroll. You know, people have questions about these things. They come to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So in 2016, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able to do this with Matt. Like I was able to, so much of my time had been freed up. So in the production business, Tell Studios, most of my work was selling, and I was doing a little bit of producing, but for the most part, my job was really just figure out how to scale this thing. I think at that point I want to say I had like 7 or 8 employees. I think close to 8. And we had gone through a really tough year. So this is August. Actually, I think this is right around that same time. I should look in my journal when I've shared this on the podcast before, but one of the most powerful moments in the history of my business is when I was sitting with a group of friends, my wife and 2 other couples that are just our nearest and dearest friends. And we had a series of months as Matt and I were building this thing out, and we launched it. And this was in like early that year, in early 2016. And we had almost no money. We had almost no pipeline, or like no pipeline. And I shared with my team, I said, hey, things aren't looking great, but I'm going to do whatever I can to pay you guys. Like, you know, we have money right now. And there were these like crazy miracles of like checks coming at the last minute and all these things. And I had 3 employees leave, and they were not ideal employees. They were just like, they were fine, but they weren't like dream team people I wanted to spend a lot of time with. And then I ended up firing my first employee ever, because at the end of the day, this person was not hungry. They did not get what we were trying to do. And so within a matter of like 2 months, I was down 4 employees, and I had 2 that had been with me for years, and we were ready to take over the world. And then we had picked up like the largest client ever. But before the largest client ever, I'm sitting at this table with our near and dear friends, and broken. Like I'm like, we have like no money. You know, the business is broke, and I'm just like, I don't know what. And at the end of the day, it's all my fault for like, I was not focused. I'm like starting another business when like my main business didn't have a way to capture new business, and I wasn't going after low-hanging fruit. I just wasn't networking. I wasn't doing the things that would grow this business and make it sustainable. And, you know, I'm spending all this time on this new brand, this new launch, and come to find out like, holy crap, I should have been, maybe I shouldn't have spent so much time and energy launching Studio Sherpas, and I should have focused on, not maybe, I definitely should have, but we wouldn't be where we're at today if I didn't put that time and energy in it. And I'm just thankful for really what I would equate to miracles from God, of bringing the right people, the right time, the right moment in my business and in my history. But the most beautiful point where I was probably at one of my lowest spots were with these friends, and I'm sharing just how tough, where everybody's kind of going around just sharing how life is, and they knew things weren't like that great, and I broke down. I just started crying as I'm just telling them, like, I just don't know what we're gonna do. Like, I keep praying and just keep trusting that the work is gonna come, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm like, but it's just doesn't seem to be working. And the friend, my one friend in particular, and he spoke for all of them. He just said, dude, if you guys need help with your mortgage, if you need help with groceries, we are here for you. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that moment of feeling heard, loved, cared for, supported. And I think as I reflect on all 400 episodes, all of the ups and downs, and so many highs and so many lows, the thing that still rings true today as what I think is the most important is community. And those best friends, we were just on vacation with them last week. We rented some houses and we went to northern Michigan, hung out on a lake, went tubing with the kids, and just had the most beautiful, fun-filled, deep conversation, just an amazing, amazing time. And as I reflect on you and all the other people that I've had opportunity to meet over the past 8 years, this is why I do it. Granted, a lot of times it's me sitting here, speaking into this camera here, but hosting an in-person event, having a mastermind, hosting a retreat for the mastermind, being with people, creating community, leaning on each other, depending on each other. I've had a lot of coaching sessions with filmmakers who have been in very similar spots that I've been in, and I can relate. I understand, and knowing that we're a part of building something and a part of something so much bigger than ourselves as we step into this place of community over competition, and the idea that collaboration is the thing that really fuels at least this. And when I say this, I mean like you and the people that listen to this show, because this is what I care about. This is what I talk about. And your vibe attracts your tribe. And so I know that 80% or more of the people that like hang out here on this show and on the YouTube channel and that come to my events and that are in 10X Filmmaker and that do mastermind, they get it. They understand the importance of community. And without the community, I mean, I wouldn't be doing this show. I would feel like I'm speaking into an empty void. But with the feedback that I get and with people showing up and to continue coming back after all these years, it's like, this is good. This is a good thing. And I remember at the end of last year, as I was reading 10X is easier than 2X and thinking through, okay, what things in my business world do I need to cut that aren't helping me, grow and be more profitable and not be distracted, right? As I think about 2016, 2015, 2016, I'm launching a second business when my main business isn't even, it was doing okay at the time, but then for months to not nurture it and take care of it, holy cow, I was not focused. I was distracted. And to think that, yeah, like this, what I have now and what I'm experiencing now today, I'm like, I did think, I'm like, maybe I should stop doing the show. Like that's, I was trying to consider everything. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, it's not the right time. And, we're more than halfway through this year. And I'm glad I didn't stop it. I continue to be encouraged and see signs that, yeah, this is working, the content and the gatherings and all that stuff. So I'm grateful for that. I want to pull up live here. I'm just curious to know how many listeners, how many downloads we have. All time is 727, and we weren't always using Libsyn. So I honestly think we're pretty close to 1 million. We may be over, and I should ask Tina that. Okay, country. United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, South Africa, Netherlands, France, Germany, China, Australia. Oh, that was Austria. Singapore, Ireland, India, Spain, Switzerland, Brazil, Italy, Croatia, Norway, Estonia, Egypt, Belgium, Mexico, New Zealand. Wow. Cayman Islands, Finland. What the heck? Nigeria, Turkey, Poland, Czech Republic, Tanzania, Denmark, Argentina, Thailand, Portugal, Sweden, Barbados, Kuwait, Hong Kong, Israel, Romania, Georgia, Bahamas, Bermuda, United Arab Emirates, Hungary, Madagascar, Philippines, Zambia, Jamaica, Lithuania, Mauritius. My neighbor who lived right there moved to Mauritius. I think it's right off of like South Africa or somewhere. Dominican Republic, Greece, Ukraine, Iraq, Kenya, Kazakhstan, Ecuador, Honduras, Colombia, Indonesia, Slovakia, Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgy, Zimbabwe, Vietnam, Virgin Islands, Taiwan. Are you kidding me? Slovakia. Oh, wait, no, I already read that. Morocco, Costa Rica, Qatar, Chile, Belize, Macau. Where is that? And then Iceland is on here. It says 0. So nobody from Iceland. That's amazing. I've never, I have not looked at that. That's like, I'm looking at this map here and I can't, this is a little overwhelming. Wow. That's really cool. Yeah, there was a thing on here. I wrote, let's see, 400 episodes of this show. It's kind of like, it's like watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy 44.4 times. Yeah. Well, thank you for humoring me as I'm just reflecting and celebrating, being grateful. This is pretty cool. I wasn't sure, like I put a lot of pressure on myself to say like, man, every 100 episodes we've kind of done. I think the first 100 was the biggest milestone because, you know, when I'm listening to episode 1 and I'm like episode 001 and say like, we had the choice when we were naming and numbering the show, we could have done just episode 1, but we're like, well, the show I listened to, Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn, that's how he numbered his 001, 002. And I was like, man, it seems pretty ambitious to name it 001. That means that we're probably going to have 100. Are we going to have 100? That's like 2 years of doing this. And here we are. So I'm glad that we did number it that way. But, you know, 400, I almost think it's not as impressive as 100 because like once we just figured out the rhythm, I would say the biggest difference between now and then is instead of, you know, finding whatever random days people could do a podcast episode. I mean, I was doing them just whenever you can do it. Now we batch them. So it's like 1 day a week, or I'm sorry, 1 day a month that we try to do 3 to 4 interviews so that I'm not scrambling. I'm not filling my calendar with random, you know, sometimes I'm at the studio and it's like, shoot, I got to get home so I can record this interview. It's like, no, we know 1 day of podcast recording. So that's been actually super helpful. But getting to that spot of knowing exactly what we need to produce the episode and what it takes to get guests and what happens when a guest, you know, falls through the cracks, can't make it, cancels, whatever, what do we do? And I'm like, oh shoot, I could probably pop on for, you know, I have a whole list of topics and ideas and I can spitball for 10, 20, 30 minutes pretty easily, which I don't know what that says about me, but it's much easier today than it was at the beginning. And still, yeah, I don't know, 400, that's pretty cool. But getting through that first 20 or 30, I think that was really the hardest, is like, what's the rhythm? And that first one, right? Just doing that first one is like, it's pretty hard. But I'm glad that I've been able to be consistent and stick with it. And it makes me, as I'm thinking about this YouTube channel that I want to launch, I'm just kind of stuck, because I'm like, okay, what's the rhythm to, like, for my editors? I don't want to bog my editors down with the show, but who else is going to edit the show? And I've overcomplicated it plenty in my head, but I'm like, I just need to do the same way that I approach the podcast. I need to do that with the YouTube channel as well. Also, like, thinking through the guests that I've had on this show, unbelievable. Blair Enns, Chris Doe, Jasmine Starr, Parker Walbeck, so many like famous authors. The guy that so many famous authors, I can't think of their name. The guy that wrote Essentialism, Greg McKeown, and Benjamin. Oh gosh, he wrote 10x is easier than 2x. Personality is not permanent. What was the first book? Benjamin Hardy. My goodness, I hope he doesn't listen to this episode. The guy that wrote The Go-Giver, Bob Berg, or one of half of the authors. It's amazing the opportunities that I've gotten just by having a show. The people that have said yes to be on this show, I'm like, oh, okay, so these people wouldn't have a conversation with me if I didn't have a podcast. And then, having a big name on helps other people that are big names, if they think like, oh, if that person was on your show, then I could be on your show too. So that's been really fun and exciting. And I'm so grateful for all the people that have said yes. And I'm so grateful for all the people that nobody really knows, like all the filmmakers that have been on this show, and all the people who are like trying to grow and get more exposure and just haven't, maybe they don't have a book out yet, or it's not a bestseller or whatever yet. To know that people have taken time out to share their message here, super, super fun. And, while we're here, I just feel like I'm going to say thanks. I want to say thank you. Wow. And I'm almost getting choked up, but I'm just going to power through here. Tina, oh my gosh, you guys, we wouldn't be here if it was not for Tina. Tina came on. I hired Tina in 2015, probably 2015 or 16, to help with transcriptions for our video projects. And I found her on Upwork, and I was like, oh man, we had some clients, we had some projects where we needed transcriptions. And so that was her specialty. And as she's doing these transcriptions, she was giving me insightful feedback, like, hey, like for this, you guys might want to think about this and that. And I'm like, wow, she's actually like pretty smart. She's not just like good at taking what people say and typing it out. And eventually when we started the podcast, I said, hey, could you help with like, some administrative stuff here and then some stuff over there? Cause I just saw that she had other skills, and she was like, yeah, sure. And then eventually, I don't remember at what point, but she has been running all the behind the scenes with Studio Sherpas since 2016, I think, maybe 2017, but for a long, long time. And we usually have a weekly meeting, and she is just so sweet, and she cares about this work so much, and she cares about you so much. She wants to do a great job, and she has done such a killer job. Tina, I cannot believe that we've been working together for this long, and I'm so, so thankful for you, and thank you for always going above and beyond, and probably thinking about this work more than you should. So stop doing that. But man, I am thankful for you. I would have given up a long time ago if I didn't have the help, and you have been the perfect person. And you've grown a lot, and I've grown a lot, and we've learned a lot about each other. So I'm super thankful for her. Also, Jeremy, man, you were my first podcast editor, and without you, I would have burnt out after episode 2 because I edited those first 2 episodes and I was like, this is not sustainable. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I think I averaged 7 hours per episode, and that was recording it, editing it, uploading it, blogging it, maybe even creating a graphic. I can't remember, but all the parts to get it to where it was right. And I was like, this, I can't spend a full day of work doing this. And I found Jeremy on Upwork as well. And man, you helped kickstart this show and helped me refine the production of it and really make it sound good, but also feel good. And I'm super thankful for you, man. And Alex, our current editor, dude, you're a rock star. You've been crushing it. I'm super grateful for you and just your commitment and your kindness. And for all of I've had different editors and people that have helped out through the years. Matt, definitely grateful for you for helping me start this, or starting this together, and just the journey that you've been on. Man, my heart, you have a special place in it, and I'm just grateful for our friendship and want to say thank you. Thank you that I get to do this work. And it was because of the vision that originally you had, and you said yes to me to come alongside and to help. And I am indebted to you. So thank you. And I miss you too. I know some other friends that have shows that do them with a co-host, and I'm like, oh man, I always reflect and think about you and I and just the fun. It's so much fun. Yes. And to my wife and kids, I love you guys. I don't think you've ever listened to a show. You probably never will, but that's okay. And then to occasionally I do have a friend that will say like, dude, I listen to the show. And my boy Jay, he is one of those guys that will randomly say like, dude, I listened to that one. And just for anybody that I know that is not in this business that has taken time to listen to the show, that's fun. And I feel like I'm writing what like in a book, like the thank yous in a book. Is that what this turned into? But I am. I just want to express my appreciation and say thanks. And so, lastly, bestly, mostly you, the listener. Obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, but I'm not going to go without saying, if it wasn't for you, this show would not exist, and I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't care about it. But because you're here, and because of your encouragement, and because you've come along my side and have shown up to receive, and you've sent me messages, or you've reviewed the show on iTunes or Spotify or wherever, you've bought a course, or you've come to my event, or you've joined the mastermind, or you're in 10X Filmmaker, or you've bought all the things, or you've bought nothing, but you've just been here. Thank you. Really, it's been such a joy. I'm not signing off. This is not the sign off, but it has been such a joy to add this to my work of storytelling and video production for our clients. And I can't imagine not doing this show and not having this show, and having met all of the incredible people that I have over the past 8 years. I just can't imagine that. Maybe my video production business would be a lot bigger and a lot more profitable if I didn't do this work. That's not true. I mean, no, it probably is true. But I'm okay with that. I think my friend Mark and I talk a lot about calling, and I feel like I was called into this work. And sometimes calling doesn't mean you make more money, but it means that you are doing the work that you're designed to do. And I think for the last 8 years doing the show, I think I was designed to do this. I've been made to do this. And who knows, 6 months from now, I might be saying something different and actually signing off. Can we just use this section for that sign off? Like, cause that was a lot of, a lot of thank yous. So who knows? Right. And I want to be open to it all, and with a full and happy, joyful, growing heart. Thank you. It sounds like I'm about to, keep losing it, but that's actually not true. I think I just need to drink water. And this is the one episode where I don't have my water right by me. So excuse me, because I would never cry on the show. I actually have cried on the show. And if you've been around for 400 episodes, you've seen or heard that happen. And it's always a good time, Okay. I mean, I'll say here's to another 100, another 400 episodes. I mean, why not? And also just my encouragement to you, my encouragement to me is to keep pressing in, to continue to ask yourself, is this the work that I'm called to do? Is this the person I'm called to be? And to be open to growing and pivoting and trying new stuff and asking of yourself hard questions. I'm constantly doing that, which is why I'm probably constantly redefining, what I want to do and how that plays out in my work and how I make money and all of the things. But I hope that you have the courage to do that. One of my favorite sayings is you don't learn until you launch. And so thankful that I had the courage back in 2016. This is the same microphone that I started with back in 2016. I'm glad that I had the courage to launch and to do the thing. And here's to more launches. I've learned so much about myself and about this work, about this community. And it's really good. So thank you for being here. I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.